So hi, I'm Peter Erceg. I'm team owner of Team PB Racing.
Peter Erceg is one of the leading drivers in the UK's GT Cup Championship, racing with his own team. But it took some time before GT3 racing became a reality.
I started probably when I just started working, mainly doing indoor karting. That's all I could really afford at the time. Always wanted to get into the circuit, but at that stage, just starting out, moving home, it was not a lot of money. So indoor karting is where I started. And it wasn't until I was really about 28 where I did my first circuit racing. Did a championship in New Zealand, the Porsche Club Championship for a year. But that only lasted a year because then I moved over to the UK. I didn't really do anything for about 5 or 6 years, but started doing some hill climbing in the Porsche Sprint Championship. Had a Porsche 968, which was the wrong car for that because you were competing against 911s with all their rear engines. So pretty soon got into doing the Porsche Club in the circuit racing in the UK, and did that for a few years. We were doing pretty good in it, but decided to move on to do British GT, which was great. It was a really good learning for us. Big jump up obviously from club to doing a Premier Championship. We did an Aston Martin GT4, and that probably taught me the most about running a business side of it, because we were looking after the sporting side and someone else was looking after the financial side, and the financial side didn't come through. So we ended up only doing 3 or 4 rounds in British GTs from the lack of funding. And then in the next year, same sort of thing happened. So we did 1 round in a Ginetta, and then that was the end. And I got basically fed up with the whole motorsport side and took a break and didn't really race again for about another 3 years, I think, or 4 years. And it wasn't until my wife, she took me to Porsche in Leipzig and gave me a driver experience day. And I kind of thought that it'll be just like following around, Rev Limited, no fun at all. No, that's not the way Porsche does it. So effectively you follow the leader, and the instructor takes you out, you're in the car by themselves. As soon as they work out that you can drive, they're off. So Gautier was saying after about 2 laps with me, you just sort of heard this nyum nyum, and we were right on it again. So that really re-engaged my getting back into racing, which we did. So we started off back in Porsche Club for a little while, and then went to 750 Motor Club, did some club things there, but moved into Brit car as it was then. We had a 981 GT4 we bought from Germany. Did a couple of seasons in that. Wasn't the most competitive car. It was quite an old GT4 by that stage, but we still managed to win the class in the second year. Then moved on to doing Porsche Cup car. Love that car. Porsche Cup cars are just amazing things to drive. Very sort of mechanical, quite old school in that way. Had ABS, but no traction control, nothing like that. So it really taught you a lot on how to drive. And we then moved on to the Audi. And the reason we went to the Audi was we were trying to get a new Cup car. But the way Porsche, especially in the UK, works is you really had to do their own championship, and they weren't interested in selling us a car outside that. And we couldn't really source anything from overseas. The second-hand cars were going more than new cars. So it was just a crazy time in the market. And we found this Audi in Germany for less than what a Cup car was going to be. So you got a full GT3 car. So we got that, ran one year in British Endurance Championship as it was then. We couldn't win that year the way the points were. There wasn't enough cars out. But the second year, we won the British Championship in that. So that was amazing, really. It's great to go to the RSC club and get presented as a British champion with myself and Marcus. That was a brilliant day, and we really enjoyed that. But then, unfortunately, that championship closed. They decided not to carry on the British Championship, so we're still undefeated British champions. And then we moved to GT Cup. and that was primarily because and it was the only other race series apart from British GT where you could race GT3s in this country, competitively anyway. And you know, the first year on there was quite an opening for us, quite opening. The competition was just a level up from what we were doing before. I think we rocked up the first day and there was 2 British GT teams there, and you know, it was just a next level up. And it probably took us half a season to get a head around it, but by the end of the season we were super competitive, and that rolls us into this year. And this year it's been going interesting, like anything in motorsports, up and downs. You know, the first round at Donington, I didn't have a great Saturday, but the Sunday came really great when we won the 100 race, which was brilliant. And then we went to Snetterton, had the best Saturday I've ever had. The qualify was just, I think I out-qualified everybody by a second, fastest time I've ever been around in Snetterton. Really controlled the first race, controlling the second race, and then we started getting a bit of a misfire in the engine, which ended up becoming terminal. We managed to get the car home, but I lost the lead for that, and then we lost the engine. So that was not a great day. And then, you know, the last round, again, we won 2 of the races and came 3rd in the second race. And it was just one of those days where one race things would go perfectly, the other race it would be a bit of a disaster. So it's been a good season and good learning, but that's pretty much how I got into racing and racing so far in my career.
Peter has found his home in the GT Cup, and it's the fact he has some strong benchmarks to assess his own level against that he finds the most enjoyable.
I like the competition side. You know, it's always been putting myself against the best out there that are in the championship, and you know, attempting to beat them. You don't always beat them, but I pair myself with what I consider as one of the best GT3 drivers in the country, with Marcus Clutton. And the reason why I do that is he's a target for me. You know, the closer I can get to him, I know that I'm doing a good job because he's a very quick GT3 driver, and it also brings me along. So there's a personal challenge of doing well, and then there's a competition side. You know, there's nothing better than winning a race when you know you fought for it. Sometimes you win a race and all you had to do was drive around. You know, others you really had to battle for it, and those moments really make the racing. There's lots of lows in racing, but they're the highs. So, you know, it's that, you know, you get somewhere like Brands Hatch on a qualifying on a lovely sunny Saturday morning, and there's nothing better driving one of those cars around as fast as you can on a challenging circuit. It's just you and the car and the track. It's just an amazing feeling. So it's those moments that make me go racing. The teamwork, I like being, you know, with the team. That's why I like endurance racing more than sprint racing, because it becomes much more of a team-orientated sport. And you know, the camaraderie that goes in with the team, and when we do well, how the team reacts, the fact that we're doing well, I really enjoy. So that'll be the main things. The advantage GT Cup has is it's a normal race weekend. You'll do 2 sets of qualifying, 4 starts, you know, rolling starts, and you know, you get a lot of track time for that. So it's really good from a practice point of view. If we're looking at moving into other things in the future, you know, you get so much experience in starting a race, competing in a race, you know, and it's on some of the good circuits in the UK as well. You know, we go around all the main circuits that you want to race on. So I think that's the main things that we get out of it. Competition, yeah, it is, but you know, we struggle, and this is not just the UK, it's definitely a worldwide thing, is that in GT3s, there is an awful lot of GT3s running in the top championships, whether that's GT World Challenge or maybe GT Open or British GT. You get huge numbers. I think Spa had like 70 GT3s. As soon as you get down to the next level championships below, we really struggle with numbers. And I think, you know, GT Cup has had that issue as well, where you know, we've only got 2 or 3 other cars in there, where you'd much prefer to have 15 or 20. So, you know, that's some of the challenges, but from a race point of view, it's good fun.
While the primary focus for Peter and PB Racing is to win races, it's not all about the driving. Commercial aspects also play a big role, as without it, the team would not be on the grid.
Yeah, for us, it's critical. You know, it's how the team is funded. We're not funded by, you know, unfortunately, I haven't created something that I could sell for hundreds of millions of pounds and am certainly rich. You know, I do a day job, and you know, why we can certainly put some money towards our racing. Having commercial partners is key, and I think the important thing, and you see much more about it recently, people seem to be realizing, but even at our level, it's not about, hey, I'm a really good driver, put a sticker on the car and you can come and watch it. It's about, you know, we've got this facility or this experience in racing, which is the key point to it. So come and have a great day at the circuit, but actually the reason why you want to come and have a great day at the circuit is you can bring your partners, you can bring your guests. You spend a whole day with them on, you know, we're running escapades this year where they'll spend, you know, from 9 till 6 in lovely escapade apartments with their clients, full hospitality. They'll come to the garage, they'll have a really great day, but enables them to do networking with their customers. And you know, a lot of the feedback that we're getting from our clients is that it's a unique facility, and not a lot of teams do this outside Formula One. And for them, everybody does golf or rugby or cricket, and it's kind of it happens a lot in the UK. So for them to be able to offer to their partners or their guests something different, and which is the motorsport side outside Formula One, is really resonating. So it's funny enough, almost the easiest thing is driving on the track. The harder part is the commercial side, and you do a lot more effort to make sure that side works, because ultimately it funds the racing. So, you know, for us it's key, but it does make us unique, or kind of unique in GT3 racing. If you look in the British GT grid, the majority of those will be self-funded by being successful within their businesses and have the funds to do it. But for us, it's very commercial. I kind of like to refer, I don't mind, it's more like a Williams approach to Formula One than it is from a Ferrari or a Red Bull side of it. So, you know, we have to make it work commercially to be able to do what we do in the racing.